it was an eye-opener. I have been participating in this process, but for me today, that's when I understood the gravity of the matter, that we are moving too fast, that we have even signed, ratified an agreement which is not complete, that the schedules are not yet discussed and agreed, but the agreement has been ratified. Africa, as individual member countries and as regions, has signed so many agreements. We have, as Africa, most of the African countries are members of the WTO, and there are commitments there in the World Trade Organization. Some countries have signed the economic partnership agreements with the EU. Some countries have signed also bilateral investment treaties with so many different countries. So we have so many bilateral treaties which we have signed. And I think what's very, very important is for us to be able to see as Africa how these different agreements are aligned to what we want as Africa. If we don't renegotiate some of those commitments, we won't be able to have the CFTA we want. Let me give you an example of the EPA, the Economic Partnership Agreements, which some countries have signed. They entail very, very extensive liberalization, which won't be tenable if we want to liberalize with our neighbors. It can't be tenable. So we need to renegotiate the EPAs. And for me, if we understand that, then we can be able to have the will to renegotiate those agreements. But then too, there are also flexibilities. For example, in the World Trade Organization, there are flexibilities within there which we should factor into in our CFTA. For example, especially, if we are negotiating the intellectual property, there are flexibilities in the TRIPS agreement, in the WTO, which we need to factor in. So the most important issue is to appreciate what the CFTA we need and what we need to do with those agreements we have signed. We are giving it almost 6 months to negotiate the schedules. We are moving too fast. Yet we need to have a solid agreement which can take us, which can help us address the challenges we are having. So we also need to scan the environment, the global trade dynamics, what's going on, the Brexit, to see how do we factor that into our CFTA. But I don't see that being done. And for me, I think it doesn't bond well for, for the CFTA. I think the CFTA will benefit a few, the hegemonies, and I have heard this term in the CFTA, in the debate, in the whole debate around the CFTA. They are the hegemonies, they are the winners, they are the losers. So at the end of the day, the powerful countries are going to benefit because we are opening up without addressing capacity constraints. We are not addressing productive constraints. So the ability of poor countries like my country, Uganda, to benefit will be very minimal. So countries like Egypt, like South Africa, will benefit more, and the story will continue to be the same. And for me, I don't think that's good for the continent.